next video is again Ephesians chapter 2 at the end, and in this case we want to focus on the expression in verse 22 of being built together. In him you two are being built together to become a dwelling in which God lives by his Spirit. And the idea is that God's people in the global church are joined together in Christ, and not only are we joined together, and we looked at that in the previous video in verse 21, but also we're being built together. And of course now it's personalized in this verse. He speaks of you also. So we are all part of God's construction. God doesn't just dwell among his people generally, he dwells in his united people specifically. This Greek word for being built together means to be built up together as a house. And of course we have many houses, and you can see through the picture, but the idea is that we're being built together as a house. The picture is active. God is still at work, shaping and placing each Christian. So the first thing we see is that God's dwelling place is not a place, it's a people. God dwells in the midst of his people in the global church. And so whenever Christians come together, whether it be on a local scale, on a national scale, God's dwelling is in there by his Spirit. From the tabernacle to Solomon's temple, God always chose a dwelling place. And now he lives not in the buildings of stone, but in his people a spiritual house. 1 Peter 2 verse 5, you also as living stones are being built up a spiritual house. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 16 speaks of Christians in a local church as the temple of God. And so we're not just in the house of God, we ourselves are actually a house of God. Secondly, we're built together, not built alone. This verse and the previous verse, verse 21 and 22, emphasize togetherness. God doesn't build isolated lives, he builds in a connected community. Again, it is echoed in Ephesians 4 verse 16, the body joined and knit together. Echoed in Colossians 2 verse 19, the body grows with the increase that is from God. Psalm 133 verse 1 says, how good and pleasant it is to dwell together in unity. You see, where Christians are joined and scattered, the Spirit dwells, and God's presence is known there as well. And thirdly, the dwelling is in the Spirit. This house is not built by human effort, but by the Spirit of God. Our unity is not organizational, it is spiritual. That is the thing. It's not something you can see. It's a spiritual connection between Christians. Just as the glory filled the temple in the Old Testament, Solomon's temple, the Spirit fills the united people of God today. And so, three reminders. First of all, we are under construction. God is still working on you, and he's still working on me, and he's doing it with a purpose. Secondly, we are a piece of a bigger plan. Your growth is tied to the people God has placed around you. And so the idea is that we grow together. And the third point, which of course is connected, is that God's presence is found in community. His dwelling is not in stones or structures, but in spirit-formed unity. And so when Solomon's temple was being built, every stone was shaped off-site. Early on, a stone arrived that didn't seem to fit, so the workers set it aside. But later on, when they came back to place the cornerstone, they realized that the very stone they rejected was the one perfectly shaped for that spot. Just like that stone, believers are being shaped by God before being placed. We may not always see where we fit, but in Christ we are being built together as a dwelling place. And of course, Christ is described in Ephesians 2 as the chief cornerstone. Our believers are living stones connected to Christ, the chief cornerstone. Thank you for listening.